Hello, everyone. We are live from the West Midlands and sort of East Midlands, and maybe America if Alex gets here in a minute. Sad day.
Yes. Sad. Who would have? And I know there's a lot of background noise, so hopefully everybody can hear me. And the background noise from
we can always hear you, Cash. Don't worry.
Fab. Well, I suppose everyone hearing. I suppose Nuno hearing all 4,500 fans in the stadium, and then obviously from the, I suspect, several 100,000 watching on television across the country, it will be, yes, a rather emotional day.
Yes.
And who would have thought it on Friday afternoon at about 10 to 2 when the news was made public? I was sitting at my desk in work trying to get through some stuff, and then it pops up in the fans parliament group chat on WhatsApp saying this has happened, Nuno's gone, and thinking, God. I think everybody feeling emotional today is quite frankly understandable, considering the 4 years, the extraordinary 4 years that have been.
Why don't we park that?
Indeed.
And quickly to have a quick look through of the game.
Indeed. Of which, from my perspective, United, first of all, United becoming only the second Premier League side to be unbeaten away from home all season, which is fair enough. Shocking the bad defending for the first goal, I have to say. I think Bolly could have done better jumping up, but then also when the cross came in, it could have very much been defended. At least if Size could have tried to stick his leg out, for goodness sake. But at least our equaliser was very, very neatly done. It stayed on side.
It was lovely. The equaliser was lovely. Absolutely lovely piece of play.
Nelson putting it away. Well, probably one of the most decent bits of play all season. Actually, the way he was able to connect it and hook it up. In terms of being the Wolves of old, I suppose we can now say under the new era. Very free flowing, quick on the ball, one touch, and it was a very nice finish, which I'm sure put a smile on everyone's faces. And a nice final goal for us to score this season. And then, of course, Mike Dean has to be Mike Dean and causes absolute chaos. I can, again, with the way in which there was contact, Saiss should never have put his leg out in the first place. And that's why the referee thought, well, in the end, that he had no choice to give the penalty, even if it.
Well, he did. He did have a choice. He had a perfectly good choice. He could have just said, no, it's not a penalty. The fact that the guy can take contact, take another couple of steps before going, oh, I've been touched, I'll flop to the floor, means for me, it's never a penalty. I don't care what planet, it's just not a penalty.
Yeah.
If you'd gone down straight away on that first touch, then yeah, it's a penalty. I mean, okay, it's a silly challenge in the box, or not a silly challenge, or slightly late, but it was. Anyway, would as someone pointed out, if that was in the centre circle, would it have even been a foul?
Probably not. Probably not, as it was in the centre circle.
So therefore, it's not a penalty.
It shouldn't have been, because
it's either a foul or it isn't. It's as simple as that. It's a foul.
It was not clear and obvious, and it was very, very too theatrical, for goodness' sake.
And if there were, I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, well, there's contact." Well, there was contact between the guy and Traore, but it wasn't a penalty for Traore either, was it?
Nope.
No, there's
There's contact. That's that. I agree. There was contact, but it wasn't a penalty. No, it wasn't a penalty. The guy put his arm out and shoved him.
Yep.
Not enough for a penalty. Didn't get a penalty. So how is it any different?
I just like the tackle from Fingy, the one who got the ball. Yeah, the one who got the ball.
That's what really angers me. That really angers me. That one does.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was
because in a way, one thing happens because of something else, and you begin to feel that the referee's against you. And this is where we've talked about it before. If you have a challenge, you say, I want you to review that. You see him clearly get the ball, no foul. You think, great, we've still got our challenge in attacked. And you're not knocked, riled or anything. I think the refereeing was pretty poor. I can see why they gave the penalty, I'll be honest. And really, I think the reason they gave the penalty is simply because of VAR. In real time, he didn't give a penalty. You slow it down, and this is where it's an anomaly. They're not meant to take intent into it, I believe, in the rules. And there's reasons for that, so that they can't say, I thought you intended to break his leg. So they're not meant to take intent. Yet when you slow it down, you focus purely on the intent.
Yeah.
Not what happens. I can completely see.
They also don't focus. They don't focus on the fact that the guy takes another couple of steps perfectly well, not off balance or anything like that. So
I debate that. I didn't think I debate that because I'll tell you why. Because when you get you get clipped. The way you put your foot down then is going to be very planted to get stability.
I appreciate, absolutely appreciate that. But I watched that back for that to see if he went off balance. He didn't go off balance. He had a.
No, I thought he was overplanting a bit on the. I think he overplanted, realised it overran it, and then went down. Which I can see why it's a penalty. I can see why it wouldn't be. The point is that once you go to VAR, it's always going to be a penalty because you focus on not the actual incident but on the intent, that's changing the rules of the game. The refereeing was poor, but having said that, I think we've got to focus on the team's performance. I thought going forward again, bar our toothlessness up front, there's definitely positives. I think Gibbs White again showed what we've been missing in between the lines, that 18-yard box area just outside. Stamido did well when Traore went off, different player. Yeah, a totally different player. He's no longer just pass the ball Traore and drop.
Indeed, and Fabio ran his heart and running towards the ball, going for it.
This is why you've got to give younger players a chance to develop, or else they never will. We were let down, I thought, in midfield and defence again. I think that for me is the critical thing.
I'd like to put a question to Professor Alex Rule in his study.
Howdy, Texas.
Hello, Alex.
Do you guys like it? It's authentic. It's my kids' Halloween decorations they never took down.
Ooh. And that looks good, not just for Halloween all year, actually, I have to say. It looks Harry Potter-ish. It's very cool.
It is a Harry, but there's candles hanging from the ceiling still. So
excellent.
The little light up ones, So what did you I don't have much to say. I was sad the whole time. I really liked our goal that we put together. Once Traore went off, that's our creative outlet. But Gibbs White, I'll agree, and I've been saying it all along, David. I love Gibbs White. I think he's just a fantastic spark. And Fabio, he's 18 and he is looking strong. He shouldn't be able to hold up, even Manchester United's B team, C team. We'll go B. Like he's doing. So I'm really excited for him. But it went about as I thought it would, to be honest. You got your dodgy penalty for Manchester United that you love, but overall, it's the last game. I can't. I'm more focused on the managerial crisis anyway. But apparently, they were talking on the broadcast that some big names have put their hat in the ring. So we'll see. I don't know what big names those are, but
indeed,
I know I put my name out there years ago, but
fucking so. I think after almost a season and a half of these videos, surely the club's hierarchy should be looking at some of the names on this here.
Absolutely, why not?
There's some real expertise I feel that we could offer.
Some different voices,
Absolutely,
But I'm sure I could fulfill a role as team man.
So I reckon, as to be honest, the game, we're all watch the game and stuff. We'll go straight to the mans of the matches. Mans of the matches, men of the match, man of the match, just man of the match. Yeah, man of the match for each of us. So we can move on to the bigger looming subject over the top. But
it's Fabio. It's 100% Fabio. Excellent, unselfish on the assist, and he was creative like we want, like Raul is creative. So he was was great today, I think.
Yeah, I'd go with Fabio. I think as well, he's one of those players who tireless running. He's looking, like you say, he's looking to create. He's looking to make something happen all the time. And I mean, Gibbs White, I think, wouldn't be far behind. But he came on. He only came on for in the second half. But I
don't want to interrupt real quick though. But on the opposite side of man of the match, I was screaming at Jose many times.
Why mention him? What's the point?
So I hope that's the last we see of him. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. I kind of felt that Nuno got it wrong again in that he should have gone for the younger players first and give the players like Moutinho the kind of bow outs. And for me, that summarised why we are where we are probably, and going to discuss what we're going to discuss next. I do think Fabio and Gibbs White, and I think Nori did okay. He was a bit more exposed, but he battled well. Defensively, he's just going to get better. You can see from Marcal when he came on. Defensively, he's got that nous. He was managing to really annoy Man U players in the last 10 minutes beautifully, without ever coming near a yellow card.
I was going to say, he's got some real devilment. He has real devilment.
And it's a shame he can't keep fit, because I think there's he's an option there, isn't he? You've said like at left back, he's an intelligent player. And I always like an intelligent player rather than somebody who's going to wave a leg out. I really like Saiz, but Saiz, I'm going to say that there are other players as well who are probably playing above themselves in the Premier League a bit. But when you see a player who's got that brain, who can kind of make other players begin to make mistakes rather than you make the mistake and give away fouls, free kicks, penalties. I kind of like that in a way. He's the kind of player you hate if he's playing against you, and you need players like that.
My man of the match would probably be Fabio. For just the way he just ran his heart out and just got onto things and did very well. But I think honourable shout out again to Nelson for the goal and him coming forward quite nicely. And if only he had a shot at one point when he tried to put it on a plate to whomever it was. I think it was Fabio, and then the defence did their job. United's defence did their job. Those two were very much best of the bunch. But also, again, Morgan came on and looked lively and forced things, and it may have been Willy Bolly if that 30-yarder had gone in. It
wouldn't have been Willy Bolly.
Nuno would have turned around and just walked. That would have been it. He would have said, "I'm done."
I would have, if that had gone in, I think everybody would have fainted if that had gone in. Quite frankly, it was a lovely shot.
I thought Neves was better going as he pushed forward a bit more. I thought Neves had quite a good game.
He played some absolute lovely passes through. I mean, that one to Semedo was
brilliant.
Absolutely perfect.
Again,
he had that great through ball that Jose didn't even try to get.
That was annoying.
I'm sorry, that's the last I'll tell you. I hate him so much right now. I just hate him. It's just like I've been like whatever, and then today I lost it. So it's unacceptable.
I'm going to buck the trend and go with Semedo for man of the match for me, because I thought he was class pretty much all the way through and scored. So that pipped it from there. It was the goal. I thought honourable mentions go. I think also to Nori. I thought he was all right on the other side. Neves played well. Obviously Silva, like you all say, he got pipped to the thing. Gibbs White was all right when he came on. I thought, to be honest, the rest of them were pretty. Yeah. It's probably. I thought Neves was the midfield. I'll be honest. But Moutinho he played a couple of the right balls, but he was just completely in and out of the game.
He is so much better.
Donker. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say Moutinho, when he's playing defensive, as soon as he dropped back, he was beaten every time. You just push the ball past him, go past him. And whereas when he's trying to link up play, because I think he had a part in the goal as well. I think he's much better up that end of the pitch. He just hasn't got the legs to play that kind of role he's being asked to play.
Well, that's it. Him and Dendoncker were pretty anonymous, and apart from Dendoncker, did thread through an absolutely perfect ball for the goal, and but unfortunately, that is the only thing he did in the entire game. Now, if you're a midfielder, you hardly saw him in the rest of the game. So,
not enough.
And I don't think any of the centre halves covered themselves. I thought, actually, to be honest, I actually thought Sace was the best centre half today. He seemed to cut out most of the stuff. Apart from, he also cut out the player to touch him. So.
That's Sace, though, isn't it? He's prone to that kind of rush of blood to the head.
But I still think he would have been better if you played him today, where Dendoncker was playing, would have looked better. Yeah. I still think that. I think alongside Neves, he plays really well. He does a lot of dirty work. He gets in the, he cuts it out.
Well, you see his devilment, where he causes problems in defence. It's a minor free kick of no issue whatsoever. He's going to niggle you. The kind of things he does, which you go, oh, Sace, why did you do that? They're not even bookings. Because they're further up the pitch, they're just breaking up play a bit. Yeah. What Man City do all the time.
Yeah, perfect for that. And I think personally, he still has a role in the squad in that position. Personally,
I would like to think
as that defensive midfielder. Yeah. As a defensive midfielder. Yeah. But in the squad, keep him because I'd keep it. Everyone's still going, oh, get rid of him on the first option, get rid of him. Well, I wouldn't because he can play in a lot of positions. And he's got a good attitude, and he doesn't seem to upset the apple cart if he's not in the side. So, and then when he comes in, so that's a good squad player to have. I mean, I imagine he's not expensive either. No. so it can't hurt. Maybe I'll go along with he's not the first team starter, but I don't have to keep him in the squad. You need certain players, versatile players like that in there.
Especially if you get more creative. If you get more creative and you want to firm it up, I completely agree with all of that. Just because you want to progress, it doesn't mean you get rid. It just means the role changes.
Absolutely.
And he's getting to the age as well where his legs would appreciate, maybe a couple of games off. So I don't think that's disrespecting him at all.
That being Zhao, I'm guessing.
What's that, sorry?
I guess is that Zhao you're referring to?
Sace.
I
think he was all right at the back.
I think he was the best of the three. I don't think, as today, I said, I don't think any of them. I don't think any of them covered themselves with glory particularly. But anyway, as you said in there, if you were thinking of changing, we should move on to the larger subject of managers moving on.
A quick mention of that. It'll be interesting, by the way, that was the last game wearing Adidas, as a note. And we're heading to Castore, finally announced on Friday as well, about 4 hours before the Nuno news completely blew that one. Poor Vinny from the media team or whomever, or the commercial team, who we thought Friday would be his day. And we've been doing the interview about Castore coming in on the biggest commercial deal that we've had for kit manufacturers, all right. And then, Nuno's the absolute shocker which came through at 10-2 blew that out of the water.
Firstly, I would like to say thanks, Nuno.
Absolutely.
Genuinely. You've basically made a lot of fans very happy. You brought the fans and the club a lot closer together, and given Wolves a new, I would say, given Wolves a new identity, and I think that is that's a massive feat because it was quite fractious prior to his starting, and I think that changed. And you could see that today with the amount of fans who turned up outside the ground just to say thank you. I mean, and then what happened in the stadium after the game finished and all that. It was lovely. It was just there's a tear in the eye.
He's like your first girlfriend. It's always going to have a piece of your heart.
Yeah. That's a very good analogy. Yeah.
I mean, quite a few people have said that it's like your first, say, serious breakup, and then you're thinking, oh God.
It's your breakup, and it's like, but everything's so good.
Or a bit like 2 years, or a bit like, in fact, 2 years ago today, I submitted my dissertation, and then the morning after, I just felt really crappy, and then realised maybe getting out of Sheffield would be better rather staying for a master's, and eventually figured out 7 months later. But very much the emotion around today is, and entirely understand it. Came completely out of the blue, obviously on Friday. No one saw it coming.
I thought he had a year left. I thought he had at least 1 year left.
Yes.
So I was.
I was surprised.
Once you look into it, and we've been saying for 6 months, like, this guy looks unhappy. Like, well, it's been there. But.
Yeah, just hearing the post-match interview, by the way, that it's just hearing a post-match interview, by the way, that he mentioned he says he doesn't know what he's off to next and what he's going to go up to. I suspect and hope that he will go home, have a very, very long rest, and be able to put his feet up and think, bloody hell, what did I do in those last 4 years? He essentially turned a supposed sleeping giant of the English game back into a pretty stable Premier League team, and he took us on some quite memorable, just crazy journeys. If anyone had said on the first day, that very first game against Leicester, in fact, at Molineux on the 29th of July 2017, that it would then spark such a thing off, then many would have been like, you're kidding me. Well, we proved many doubters wrong. And
I mean, that was the moment, though, that Leicester game, right? Because it's like that Django Unchained line, like, you had our curiosity, but now you've got our attention, and then it just
Ivan Cavallero is the man who broke the duck. It was a great goal, but the way in which we put that together, we thought, oh, this is good. And then obviously the way in which we played it and obviously beat Middlesbrough the following week, I'm thinking, oh, first game in the league season back in 17-18. Look how well that then went with 99 points. 99 points.
Let's not get back on another Zenga bus. That's all it's such a pivotal moment, it's so pivotal.
He deserves, first of all, a cheers, even if it's a virtual one.
Yes, absolutely. Cheers that I haven't got
cheers. I had this ready and waiting.
Well, I know this is the big moment too, but I'm going to bounce in like 5 minutes, so I'll let you know when I'm leaving and sign off for the season.
Fair enough.
But as you were, bud.
So if you're about to sign off, Alex, who would you like to see come in?
There's nobody I could say. Like, to be honest, it's too raw, it's too fresh. But as you saw today, still there has to be an attacking philosophy, and that's it. And there's so many unknowns, because how many of these players are staying now? What's the team, and what's Fosun's actual ambition? Because we think we want to be like the next Man City, but maybe we're looking to be more of a BVB, where we bring in young players, cultivate them, and then sell them when their value is the highest. And it's not just a couple of teams in the Bundesliga above us; it's 6-7 other teams. So are we going to taste that success, or are we just going to be a farm for those other teams to feed off of? So I have too many questions, too many variables. So there's nobody I want other than Nuno. Like, who's the people available? I know Bruno. You look at his CV, and you just think that's not it. That's an assistant at Sheffield Wednesday a couple of years ago. So
yeah.
I don't know.
And then obviously Benfica.
For one season, right?
Yeah, I think won the league at Benfica. He stormed the league, and then it just completely crashed and burnt the next season.
I honestly, I don't have a preference. I don't have a guess, and I'm just gonna wait and see this summer, and I'm gonna hold my breath till August.
In terms of from the ones who've been portrayed as such or been mentioned, I would go with one of three. I would go with one of three. Bias Barras, because he's done it in the Premier League and has an all right track record, still a massive experience in terms of Europe and building all right sides. The current Porto manager, who by the sounds of it, looks like he's going to be given the boot because they lost the title to Sporting Lisbon. I don't know I forgot how to pronounce his name or anything, but obviously led Porto to the title last season and fairly decent runs in Europe as well. And then also Paulo Fonseca, who's leaving Roma. And again, Roma in the last couple of years getting themselves deep into European competition. Obviously, semi-final of the Europa League this season is quite impressive.
I've been thinking that it might be a swap, honestly, between those two, Nuno to Roma and Fonseca over here. Oh, also, is Pep?
But obviously,
Jose want a new project?
Jose Mourinho will have something. Jose Mourinho sadly had something else to say when when it was confirmed he's off to Roma to replace Fonseca a few weeks ago. So,
is that true?
I think
I forgot about that.
Yes, it is. But I think Fonseca actually,
How does that guy keep getting work?
Roma to a European semi-final, and obviously getting them Roma quarter-final last year, the Europa League semi-final this year. Obviously, that is very, very impressive in itself, considering just the massive way in which Italian football has gone very kind of, I say, more diverse in the teams who have qualified and so forth. So keeping showing Roma being up there is still quite a job, and I think that experience could be very, very handy. That's what I'd like. Bruno Lage is a supposed favourite. Let's see. Very checkered record, but that was Nuno before he came in, so no one should fully say no to anybody, I think.
Well, to be honest, if you go on records, a lot of managers have checkered records. I suppose you've just got to look at someone who's going to fit in with what we want to do.
Which we don't know. We don't know what we want to do.
I think if they are looking to change the policy, the thinking, and want to go with an attacking manager, then we would be reasonably attractive prospect with some of the players we've got. You know, you look at some of the attacking players we've got, they go, oh, well, actually, that's a good start then.
Yeah.
But then you also worry at the same time that if you do have an attacking manager, you look at the defence we've got. If it's ignored, then we're in a bit of a bind. But I don't know. Hard to say, really. I mean, I haven't a clue. I like the sound of the Lag. Is it Lag or Lager or Large or Lage or I don't know.
Say Bruno.
No idea.
Bruno.
No idea.
We'll go with Bruno.
Bruno.
There's part of me that likes the idea of Bruno because he's ridiculously attacking, and I like ridiculously attacking. But I also appreciate he is a little bit on the green side, shall we say? But that shouldn't really matter because everyone starts somewhere, don't they? And if he's started off well, I mean, how many Pep Guardiola? How many games did he have before taking over Barcelona? He was Barcelona B coach and then took over Barcelona. I know it's a bit different having a squad of superstars, but you've still got to be able to manage them. So, you know,
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mold.
Yeah. There you go. So, there's it. There's Fonseca. I'll be honest. I find it hard to really comment on him because I don't follow enough European football to be able to say, oh, I like the style of him, or I like the style of him. So I'm kind of a bit like Alex. I'll just hold my breath and hope something good happens. Is it Sarri who was still out of work?
Yeah, I think so.
He's got a reasonably good.
I think that Sarri.
Is he? Do you think he's beyond us or about right for us? Because he didn't quite make it at the top table. So a drop back down a little bit with slightly less expectation.
Yeah. He was at Juventus until last year. He's been out of work since August the 8th last year. And
is that too much to think we could?
It would be an interesting one, though, wouldn't it? Let's face it. If he came in and there was a bit of backing, he is a manager with a philosophy and an idea.
And did win Chelsea the Europa League in 2019 as well.
I could see it as being a very positive appointment. I mean, they let's face it, they don't always work out management appointments. What you're looking for is a positive decision, which will give the club a chance of progressing. It's no guarantee. I think what Alex said as well is key. You're looking for signs of the intent of Fosun. You're looking for how long it takes to make the decision. In other words, was there a bit of intelligent thought about this? And the reason I think that might be the case is they announced there's no need in terms of, because there's rumours that it was a kind of mutual. That means that both sides aren't happy. And if one side as a football as a club isn't happy, that means you're sacked effectively, because there's only one in relationship. But the way they chose to do it with the last game, letting the fans say goodbye, suggests to me that they're fairly relaxed about what's going to happen. Now, if they weren't, they'd probably delay the decision until after the last game because they'd be scared of flack. So I kind of wonder, and one of the signs, Alex's signs, if you like, I'd look for a quite early appointment. Sometime this week or early next. If it drags on longer than that, I'd begin to worry, because then you've got the transfer window, which is obviously what we're all alluding to as well. But I like that idea of Sarri. I was also thinking somebody with a bit of experience and maybe something to prove. I don't mean this person, but somebody, and sorry if it's this bill, somebody like Benitez, somebody with that kind of done it, but want to prove a bit more. And Sarri is certainly in that class. I thought the Porto manager, I think he's on a 1 year is his contract up this year? The Porto manager.
Possibly. Let me have a look.
I thought he might be an option, but I don't know, like you, Bob, the rest. Like, couldn't comment.
Sergio Conceição. Conceição. Right.
Concerto.
Although apparently he's now being linked with West Ham United. He's been linked with West Ham United, interestingly, which is quite bizarre. Why would they want to?
I just hope it's not Lampard. I don't want to go through the next year hearing Frank Lampard's Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Steven Gerrard.
Stevie G's going to be at Rangers for a long time and probably winning most trophies in Scotland for a long time. So I doubt that will happen. I know Massimiliano Allegri is also still available as a suggestion, but he's now odds-on favourite to become Real Madrid's next gaffer if Zidane decides to depart, which could happen like the third.
Let's get Zidane in then. Let's do it. I gotta bounce though, gentlemen. So it's been a fun year.
Indeed.
Yeah, great to see you, Alex.
We'll have to catch up for the Euros.
Yeah. So for the Euros, it'd be great. Excellent.
Is America?
I don't know. Is what? Yeah. No. Unfortunately, they should be invited, like the Copa America invites other countries. So
yeah.
Speaking of Americans, and Juve, Weston McKennie should be on everybody's radar. They want to sell him. He's an American. He's like a Morgan Gibbs White on steroids.
Is that Schalke who brought McKennie, wasn't it?
No, that's Savage, I think. I think so. But Weston McKennie's playing for Juve right now, and they want to sell him. So
Juve. All right. Oh.
You want an attacking midfielder? That's your guy. He's scoring with Ronaldo.
Of course, he moved from Schalke to Juve. That could be a good move. Yes.
Yeah.
But I've got to bounce. We're gonna go look at our house. So
it's
been fun. Is this the last one of these? Because you guys are gonna be back next year. So
yeah, I think I don't think it'll be the last one as such, but it might be a different format. I gotta find out how to do this.
It's been a pleasure. It was so good to see people in the stands today, and it just felt alive. Yeah. So that was it felt right. But I leave you in a cloud of uncertainty.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see that. I'll try and make it over. We'll have this talk in the Western next spring, hopefully. So
we'll have to introduce you to spoons.
Which spoons?
Why
Which spoons? I've been around.
We take this debate offline, folks.
Is Weatherspoons the one where you have to go down like 14 flights of stairs to the cellar to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, but apart from most people seem to just go in the Weatherspoon.
Yes. Anyway,
Maybe that'll be me. That'll be me. I'll see you, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Up the wolves, right?
Some way.
Oh yeah.
And that's a
Right then. So other managers who are available. Who else is there? I mean, obviously, like just mentioned there, Frank Lampard will always be mentioned. Steven Gerrard has been mentioned.
Yeah, obviously,
I don't think.
Benitez is someone who's mentioned.
I personally would have very little interest in Benitez myself because he's done obviously got a good record and stuff in the past, but do we really want that? Listening to how some Newcastle fans talked about the football, do we really want that?
Well, I think that was more a circumstance with players.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
I think Sarri would be a better option.
Yeah,
He's got something to prove.
Lopetegui again's down at 10-1. Lopetegui.
I can't see Lopetegui moving from where he is. And to be honest, I can't see Bosun actually wanting to hire him after being left in the lurch a little bit when he went to understandably to the Spain job.
Unless they do Nafobi, they get him and then sack him.
Guess who's 66-1 as well? Guess who's 66-1?
Sam Allardyce, of course.
40-1. Kevin Muscat is at 66-1.
Really? Wow.
Yes, Kevin Muscat is at 66-1. Terry Connor is 100-1. I think, and broadcast here. Patrick Vieira at 40. Why are you spelling Vieira's surname wrong? Spell Vieira's surname right, for God's sake.
Has he done though? Didn't he go? I'm thinking of where is Vieira? Is he?
He is
Man City.
Yeah, I think he is. No, he was at Nice until this year.
Nice. Oh yeah, got sacked, didn't he?
That's it. He got sacked in December after they were eliminated from the Europa League. So he's been out of work for a small. Steve Cooper's at 40-1. That's bizarre. Even Matt Mick is at 100-1 according to this. Eddie Howe at 33. Diego Martinez at 33. Same with Chris Wilder. Even Roberto Martinez as well. Roberto Martinez, who's obviously he's Spain's manager at 25. So there's some very big names who have been linked.
None really exciting. None jump out and you go, oh yeah, that sounds like the one. But then, as I said, I don't know enough about managers and other teams, to be honest, to be able to make a clear judgment. So this is a really crap conversation from my point of view.
I think all we can say is what we hope will happen, and that's quite a crap conversation because it comes down to money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think really it's one of those you comment when the appointment's made, if you're going to be perfectly honest.
And maybe a special one of these when we have a new manager could be useful in terms of just debating things as time goes by. But who knows? Generally, who knows where we're going to go and what we're going to do and when it'll be sorted. But seeing that I think Athletic and everybody's saying that Wolves don't intend to hang around. I suppose that certainty and stability, as former Prime Minister once said, is very, very important to have in place as soon as possible, regardless of who we do get in. Just so we can obviously plan as well as we can for the season, and obviously do what we need to do. So, yeah, very much uncharted territory would be the two words from my perspective. I would be surprised if it isn't someone who is from Portugal. I will put it out there.
What I do hope is that they get. Well, it's not what I hope. It's then they have to. Is they've got to get it at the right sort of person to get the buy-in from the fans because we all really love to do that. So if it's someone too decisive, you're not going to get that. You're going to start getting problems again. Which you don't want. We don't want that. I mean, you want to get at least someone who's at least going to I mean, yeah, you'll get some back in for that honeymoon period, but if it was someone they're not happy about from the start, massively happy, you'll get the support initially, but it will very, very quickly go away, and that's not what you want.
I do think there's an element that whoever you appoint, you're going to get some vocal people on social media, because that's just the nature of the beast. Whoever we get has to be backed to some degree, and it has to build on the philosophy and the investments that we've made. I mean, we do need a decision quite quickly, because we've got the options on the loan players that need to be decided to some degree.
Yeah.
So
I think. Yeah. I'll be honest. I think we'll sign them, regardless.
Who?
I think that Nori and Vitinha will be signed regardless. I think they'll just get signed.
What about Jose? Do you think he'll?
No, he will not be signed.
I'll be very surprised, personally.
Unless there's some absolutely weird deal in place. Oh my god, that would be not the greatest of moves.
I'm sure I read he was out of contract with Sociedad at the end of the season. So the fee was more or less like a deferred purchase fee. So I suspect there might be something to say. We're not signing him, but we'll take him.
His contract.
We'll take up his contract.
Right. He's in loan for. He's still got 3 years on his contract.
All right, he must have signed a new deal then. He can go back then. No, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, indeed. Sadly, as much as he played well for Sociedad, it hasn't worked out.
It doesn't. And I mean, he did do a job. He took pressure off Silva for a few games, which is probably what we needed to happen. So I wouldn't say it's as catastrophic as everyone makes out, because that breathing space has given Silva a chance to develop, and sometimes that's all you need. Take somebody out the firing line, let them refresh, but give them back again. So it might not have been as catastrophic as everyone has thought it would have been. I still think Gibbs White is the interesting one, because you wouldn't want him to be your first starter, but he does need game time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is there. I've been impressed with him. I really have the last few games. I think his attitude, looking to go forward, always positive. We've been crying out for that for all season, and you kind of feel for him and Vitinha. Well, Vitinha was here, whereas Gibbs White was obviously at Swansea. Whereas when we've been looking for that type of player, and our season has kind of spiralled down because to some degree we've lacked that and lacked cohesion in defence as well. You do kind of feel that there's a bit of a missed opportunity there, but that's life. I think we'll sign Vitinha at Nori, definitely.
Absolutely, I very much think the same, because they both got huge potential and have very much shown it at periods of the season. So, and obviously to keep them in would be hopefully, knowing how young they are, that would be quite nice. Just to say as well, I think as well, just to note that there are Tim Spears said before the game that Lage, whatever his surname is, has been spoken to, but bigger names have shown interest in the last 48 hours. I wonder what they mean by bigger names. That would be my.
Ones with more letters in them.
Hey.
Yes.
Higher scoring in Scrabble. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say Conceição is quite a long name.
Yeah, Conceição. Yes. Yeah. No, that's a very, very interesting point, but we'll see. Time will tell. I think in the next. I just hope we get some. As I say, I hope we just get something done and get something done quite quick, just so that we are able to
get some recruitment going, planning going.
You really would hope we get them in before the Euros, so you don't get pulled into that nonsense afterwards.
Yeah, some are suggesting it was thanks to transfer budget disagreements, but who's to believe what? Quite frankly,
I think unless there was a few things coming out from sources within the club, and sometimes it's the opportunity for a secretary or an administrator to have a little stab, or maybe they've been briefed to do it. Who knows? And the point is, until you can only go with what you said, really. I do think it's nice that we did, in a way, get rid of him in this way, or part company in this way, where we could at least have a chance to say goodbye, sing his name, and just say goodbye properly, really. I just just it is the end of an era. Awful season in every way. Glad it's over in one way. Sad it's the end of an era. Uncertainty always brings fear. Fear can lead to hatred. Hatred leads to the dark side. Be positive.
Thank you, Yoda. Well, to be honest, I think on that pearl of wisdom, I think we should end it there.
Any prediction for the Euros? Just to say, or should we do one of these during the Euros?
I think we'll do one of these in the Euros.
Or maybe a couple of these in the Euros.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
And which then
after Portugal games or England games.
Which the first England game actually is 3 weeks today against I think it is, if I am right, Croatia at Wembley. So that could be quite a nice time to come back, because fingers crossed all stuff will be sorted. Hopefully we'll have a new manager by then. We'll have a new manager by then, and obviously the first game of the Euros. And fingers crossed, Codes gets into the squad. That announcement, I think, is on Tuesday or Wednesday.
And with the new season, well, I have to think of how to do this.
I think it all could depend in terms of.
I'll be honest. I think I'm toying with the idea of speaking to one of the bars in town.
Yeah.
So if there's any bars in town,
or even just out of town,
or just out of town, just somewhere like nearish. So after the game, can go straight in, and we'll have like a live and make a little live setup, and we'll have a live setup and do this sort of thing, but with us sat there, and then get people to call in, and it's like a bit like an extended call,
or literally call in and buy some pints or
that's it. Yeah, come in, pull up a chair on the at the table, and have a beer with us. But that's what I'd like to try and do. So yes, if anyone does have a bar and would like to do that, then get in contact.
Finally,
I am very contactable.
Excellent. For finally, as well, Pedro Neto swept the boards at the awards. No, it's about 70%. For player of the season, 70%, and Fabio getting young professional of the season as well, Anna Cross getting women's player of the season. What would you say your moment of the season? What would you say your moment of the season would be, if you had one?
The sad send off just now.
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
I don't think anything else really comes. Even Raoul's horrible head injury, which was horrible, but I think but because he's okay, with hindsight you can look back and go, oh, that was horrible, and you don't feel bad about it, but no, I think the emotional scenes today, I think
today plus Neto's winner against Chelsea, I'll probably see that very much spring out, and obviously Moutinho's absolute perler against Arsenal would be the three big ones. And also, actually, when we went joint top of the league in November, we didn't say we were joint top. we should have said stop the count, as Southampton then joked. But there we are.
There you go. So so thank you very much, and we'll see everybody else at some time in the future.
Probably, maybe in a couple of weeks for the Euros. Adios.